August 408 AD. Outside the walls of Ravenna, a Roman general kneels. He has defended the empire for nearly 2 decades. He has beaten the same enemy army twice on Italian soil. And now, on the orders of the emperor he served, his own soldiers execute him. His name was Stilicho. And his death did not save Rome. It destroyed it. For 800 years, no foreign army had breached the city of Rome. Rome had survived Hannibal. It had survived civil wars. It had survived plagues. The city was not just the capital. It was an idea. Untouchable, but by 410 AD, that idea would die in 3 days of looting. And the man who led the attack, a Gothic king named Alaric, was not some outside conqueror. He had spent years trying to become a Roman general. This is the story of how Rome talked itself into its own downfall. Alaric was not born an enemy of Rome. He fought for Rome. In 394 AD, he led 20,000 Gothic soldiers into battle for Emperor Theodosius himself at the Frigidus River. He lost half his men that day. In return, he received almost no recognition at all. A year later, Theodosius died. The empire split in two, one emperor in the east, one in the west. Alaric was proclaimed king of the Visigoths. And he wanted the same thing most ambitious men in the Roman world wanted: land for his people and an official Roman military title. Twice he invaded Italy to force the issue. Twice, the general Stilicho defeated him. But defeat did not end the relationship. It defined it. Alaric and Stilicho fought each other for years, negotiated with each other for years, and by 407 AD, Stilicho was quietly advising Rome to pay Alaric off rather than fight him again. Here is the detail most people never hear. Rome's own top general believed a deal with Alaric was the smarter move. Then, in August 408, everything Stilicho had built collapsed in a single afternoon. Court officials in Ravenna convinced the young emperor Honorius that Stilicho was plotting against him. There is no solid evidence this was true. It did not matter. Stilicho was arrested and executed. His wife, Serena, was executed soon after, possibly as a gesture of goodwill toward Alaric himself. What followed was worse. A wave of anti-barbarian violence swept through Roman territory. Thousands of Gothic soldiers serving in the Roman army had their families murdered by Roman mobs and Roman troops. These men had spent years fighting for Rome. Now Rome had turned on their wives and children. They did not go home. They went to Alaric. His army swelled toward 40,000 men, filled with soldiers who had once worn Roman uniforms. Rome had just handed its most dangerous enemy an army built from its own former defenders. By late 408, Alaric marched on Rome itself. Not to burn it. To force it to negotiate. He surrounded the city. Grain rations dropped to a third of normal. Bodies went unburied in the streets. Some ancient writers even describe cannibalism inside the walls. Whether that detail is literal or exaggerated for effect, the message from the sources is the same: Rome was starving. The Senate broke first. They agreed to a ransom almost impossible to picture. 5,000 pounds of gold. 30,000 pounds of silver. 4,000 silk tunics. 3,000 pounds of pepper. To pay it, Romans melted down statues of their own gods. A bronze figure representing Roman courage itself, the statue called Virtus, was stripped down for its metal. Read that again. Rome melted the physical symbol of its own courage to buy off the man it refused to simply make a deal with a year earlier. And this was not even the worst siege. There were 2 more to come. You would think, after paying a ransom that large, Rome would finally give Alaric what he actually wanted. Recognition. A title. Land for his people. Honorius, safe behind Ravenna's marshes and fortifications, refused again. So Alaric returned in 409 and tried something almost nobody expects from this story. He did not sack the city. He forced the Senate to crown a rival emperor, a pagan senator named Priscus Attalus, and had himself appointed the new regime's top general. For a moment, there were two Roman emperors, and Alaric was working inside the system, not outside it. It fell apart fast. Attalus refused Alaric's own military advice, sent a fleet to seize North Africa without Gothic troops, and watched that fleet get destroyed. Furious, Alaric stripped Attalus of his crown in the summer of 410 and sent the imperial robes to Honorius as a peace offering. One last chance for a deal. Honorius agreed to meet him near Ravenna. And that meeting is where the story turns for the final time. As Alaric waited to negotiate in good faith, a rival Gothic commander named Sarus, loyal to Honorius, launched a surprise attack on Alaric's camp. Alaric survived. But the message was unmistakable. Rome had chosen ambush over agreement one final time. There would be no fourth attempt at diplomacy. On August 24, 410 AD, Alaric's forces reached the Porta Salaria, one of Rome's great gates. According to the ancient accounts, the gate was opened from within. The Visigoths entered the city that had not fallen to a foreign army in 8 centuries. For 3 days, the city was looted. The mausoleums of Augustus and Hadrian were broken open, imperial ashes scattered. A massive silver ceremonial vessel, a gift from Constantine himself, was stripped from the Lateran Palace. Fires broke out in the Basilica Aemilia and the Basilica Julia. Honorius's own sister, Galla Placidia, was taken captive. But here is what modern archaeology has actually found beneath Rome's streets. Almost nothing. No mass destruction layer. No citywide fire. The famous melted coins once pointed to as proof of the attack are now believed by researchers to be from an unrelated, ordinary fire. Excavations across the Aventine, the Celian Hill, and Trastevere show a city that mostly kept living, trading, rebuilding. The physical city survived remarkably intact. What actually died in 410 was something you cannot excavate. Rome's belief that it could never be touched. Alaric did not get to enjoy his victory for long. Weeks later, he marched south, planning to cross into Sicily and North Africa. A storm destroyed his fleet before he ever set sail. Then, near the town of Cosenza, Alaric fell ill and died. Months. That is all the time separated the sack of Rome from the death of the man who led it. Legend claims his followers diverted an entire river, buried him in the riverbed with his treasure, and killed the slaves who dug the grave to keep the location secret. No archaeologist has ever found it. In 2016, the Italian government even declined to approve a modern excavation search near Cosenza, citing a total lack of hard evidence. The man who spent nearly 2 decades trying to become a Roman general is now remembered as the barbarian who destroyed Rome. The evidence suggests something far more complicated. So return to that scene in Ravenna, in 408. A general kneeling, a blade falling. An emperor who thought he was protecting his throne. He was signing Rome's death warrant. Not with an army. With a decision. Alaric never wanted to be Rome's destroyer. The evidence, from 3 sieges, 2 puppet emperors, and years of failed negotiation, suggests he wanted to be Rome's general. It was Rome, again and again, that chose the wrong answer. The city that had taken the whole world was itself taken. Not because it was weak. Because it stopped listening to the people it needed most. If this story of betrayal, power, and Rome's slow collapse pulled you in, there is an entire empire's worth of these hidden turning points still waiting to be told. Subscribe, and walk through the next one with me.